Welcome to the awe-inspiring Faroe Islands, an island nation both unique and beautifully underrated. With its raw, untouched beauty, this place feels like a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. Over the next few days, I'll be exploring dramatic cliffs, secret waterfalls, and charming coastal villages tucked away in one of the most remote paradises on planet Earth. Join me as I reveal the must-see spots and share the magic of experiencing the Faroes firsthand. Fun facts about the Faroe Islands. Depending on who you ask, the Faroe Islands are considered a country and they're also considered a territory of Denmark. But really, they think of themselves as a country because they are. Another cool fact about the Faroe Islands is that it is so small in terms of population that there are only like 3 traffic lights, which I find fascinating. And we went by one of them today. I am just so mesmerized by all of the stops that we're making. We've got a long day, this little town here, and there's sheep everywhere. It is so beautiful. The Faroe Islands are known for its majestic landscapes filled with monolithic cliffs, rolling green pastures, happy sheep, and ever-changing weather patterns that make for an interesting day. And the best way to get around is by car. As we travel through the islands, you start to notice it's a landscape like no other.
They're literally talking to each other. This is so cool. Usually sheep don't ever approach you, but these were like, what's up? They're like, what, who are you? What are you doing? How are you?
Oh, look at the baby. It's so cute.
There's so many of them by the road.
They must get drilled by cars.
Apparently it gets really foggy here sometimes. There's lots of sheep. So sometimes, you know, they do get hit by a car, and if that happens, you have to call the police or you'll go to jail. This road trip is just absolutely gorgeous. Another stop here is Quittamar. This is a beautiful stop. You just have the most luscious green view of the fjord here, and with the mountains, and there's birds just flying everywhere. I honestly feel like I'm in a fairy tale. Like, oh gosh, seriously. Faroe Islands, I'm already falling in love with them. And this is just the beginning. She said if you wanted to have a good look of all the viewpoints around this area, it would just take you a day alone. So we're coming up on one right now. This is honestly so majestic and magical, and we get sunshine on it too. That is quite rare here in the Faroe Islands because it rains around 300 days out of the year, which is insane. So that means it's sunny for about 60 days. And we happen to be traveling during one of the most sunny days in the Faroe Islands. And it's so funny because already at least 5 people have come to us saying, wow, you're so lucky because you happen to be here on one of the best days so far. And it's, I think, early spring. So I'd say we're having pretty good luck right now. Oh my gosh, guys, look at this little town. This is another stop on the itinerary. This is the town of Jegv, and it is so picturesque. Fun fact about Jegv here is that it only has 50 people who live here year-round. And that means that there's really not a lot of people, therefore there are no like gift shops and coffee shops, but it is a really popular destination for holiday homes here for the locals. So this is where they come out during the summer to enjoy. I can see why. It's so beautiful, especially with the sun out. Look. We are just passing by one of the 2 sea stacks here called Risoa-Kettlingen. I think that's how you say it. And there is quite an interesting story that goes along with it. There's 2 columns right by the seaside cliff, and they say that back in the day there was a giant and a witch that came to visit the Faroe Islands, and they fell in love with it. They said it was beautiful and they wanted to bring the islands back to Iceland. It is said that the giant and the witch came at night. They got a big lasso and lassoed the cliff and tried to pull it to Iceland, but then the witch fell into the ocean, and the giant and the witch remained there right as the sun rose during sunrise, and it froze them into rock statues. So now they just remain there with an unfinished job, and they remain there as statues or sea stacks, but they're pretty to look at. So we are being taken to apparently one of the best fish and chip spots here in the Faroe Islands. You can imagine this is what probably 90% of their diet consists of: seafood. So this place is called Sjogata, and they are presenting us with the freshest fish possible. Let's see if that's true. Let's try it. It's really fresh. So tasty and savory. Oh, that's good. Definitely stop here if you come. It's so good. I want to introduce our tour guide.
Hey, I'm Dita.
Everything's flying away.
So, this is Dita, and she's been living in the Faroes for many years. She's technically Faroese.
Not that many, I'm not that old.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. No,
Forever
it's all good.
Faroese.
Yeah, for most of my life.
Amazing.
So the Guide to Faroe Islands is our guide to the Faroe Islands, and they've been amazing at setting us up with transportation and deals all over the island, where we're gonna get to explore the best parts of the island.
And back to Tórshavn we go. It's the largest and the capital city of the Faroe Islands.
Welcome to dinner. We're about to try a traditional Faroese meal. I don't know what that is, but let's go see. They say you can foresee how good the food will be from their bread. I think it'll be good.
It's gonna be really good. Just get that.
Thank you. So far the menu has been a lot of seafood because, of course, the Faroe Islands' biggest industry is the fishing industry. And I'm not the biggest fan of seafood. Well, I am on a seafood diet. I see food and I eat it. But I'm not on a other kind of seafood diet. So I don't really eat scallops and raw fish. But I'm going to try and be a little adventurous and try it, like this smoked salmon tartare. It's actually quite delicious. You can taste that the seafood is so fresh.
It's amazing.
And it's caught right outside, right here. So I'll try and be adventurous, but
I see food and I eat it. That's a good one.
yeah, that's the kind of diet I'm on, really.
Wow.
So the interesting thing about it is that here in Faroe, of course, lamb and fish are really popular dishes, but pork is not. So they have to import a lot of items, including pork, but it doesn't matter because truly the chicken, the fish, and the lamb are all you need. Like, if I were to live here, I'd be very happy with these items because they're such premium quality. Delicious. And they just made us this braised lamb that has been cooked for over 24 hours. It's just falling apart. Oh my god. Okay, let's try it. Oh my gosh.
You guys need to come here.
Wow.
Monk fruit's
So
great.
soft. So delicious and savory and juicy. Ooh. Good morning from sunny Faroe. Remember when they said that the weather can change like that? Today is not one of those days. In fact, our puffin tour got canceled this morning because of the wind, and the waves were way too big to get across to the other side of the island, which only takes a few minutes. But hey, at least we are stopping on the side of the road because we get to see these little baby cows and other cows, and I've never seen these types of cows before, this type at least. They look so majestic by the cliffside. It's pretty insane. First stop of the day is the West Mana boat tours, and we are currently touring around the island. And on this tour you can see a bunch of sheep on the cliff sides, and we're crossing our fingers because we're hoping to see some puffins. Puffins are usually making an appearance on this tour, as well as seals and a bunch of other little animals. You know, one of the craziest things that just gets me is looking right across to any island. You just see random houses. A lot of these isolated little homes were actually built and used for during World War II. But after that, they're now used as summer homes. But they're so isolated, basically it's impossible to reach them unless you decide to go in the summertime. You can use a little boat to go all up there. But during the wintertime, there's relatively no hope of reaching those homes. It's just kind of like a summer house thing, which is quite a common thing that I'm finding here. A lot of people here get summer homes in places you can't easily access except for summer because it's so beautiful.
Another way to experience the islands is by boat, which gives you a totally different perspective. We're heading out to the water to search for puffins and take in the breathtaking, hard-to-reach spots that you can only see from the boat.
So we just got closer to land, and now we're seeing the puffins, and they're flying back and forth, trying to feed their babies. Oh my goodness, it's like a bunch of flappy birds everywhere. All right, we've approached another grotto where there is a puffin colony where they're plentiful, and it happens to be right by a rock that is shaped like an elephant. And there is a beautiful archway here. You cannot imagine how beautifully scenic the coastline of the Faroe Islands are. It blows my mind how magical everything looks. It's like I'm in a movie set and everything's constantly awing me with all the majestic beauty it has. That was a pleasant sightseeing tour of the coast.
That was
very much enjoyable.
Way cooler than expected.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
Would recommend. One of the reoccurring things that I'm noticing here is there aren't a lot of cafes. There aren't a lot of coffee shops and restaurants unless you're in the capital. And apparently everyone kind of just does a lot of home cooking meals here. So I find that interesting. You know, I guess their tourism sector is growing. So whenever you go out into the little islands trying to get lost, it's not going to be easy to find a cafe around the corner. I want to show you guys something really crazy. So in the Nordic countries, it's really common to leave your baby right outside of a restaurant, a cafe, or your house. Because this is how they acclimate babies, and also it improves their immune system, crazy enough. So I've always heard about this, but I've actually never seen it. And there's a baby sleeping. As she's acclimating, or he or she, there's a baby. There's literally a baby inside. This is like a very normal thing. A very normal thing in Nordic countries. He's from Norwegia.
I was sleeping outside like that.
Exactly. Apparently every Nordic baby does it. Every Scandinavian baby does it. This is how you become
not cold.
a Scandinavian or a Nordic person. Okay, so you might be wondering what Faroese cuisine is like. And well, I'm gonna have to tell you that it's a lot of seafood, which is something that is not my favorite always in cuisine, but I've just started getting used to fish. I love salmon, I love cooked fish. So we came to a restaurant that we were just recommended to, and apparently it's one of the best in the area. It's called Fjord. I don't know if I said it right. Basically, it revolves around the drying area outside of a restaurant where they used to dry fish, and in particular, codfish. Now, like I said, seafood isn't always my favorite unless it's just plain old cooked salmon and cod and any kind of fish. But today, I'm gonna be adventurous, and I got some salted cod fish crepes. So we're gonna see what that tastes like, and I also got myself a vegetarian dish just in case, but I'm sure it'll be delicious. So the food has arrived, and it looks and smells delicious. I must say, the crepes, they're looking quite funky and interesting. It's like crepe over fish. Oh, I'm so shy. I'm so nervous, but let's just get into it. Let's get a little bit of everything. I think that's the best way to try it, am I right? Okay, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. Wow, I did not expect that. It is like a beautiful medley of sweet and sour. Oh my goodness, I'm in love. And it's so fresh. It's almost like a salad. I have no idea how to explain the flavors that I'm tasting, but it is so good. Once again, we have stopped on the side of the road here because the cows are just chilling and having fun. I'm hiding in the car at this point, you guys.
Come on, Roger, get on it.
Influencers in the wild. I'm honestly thinking about moving to the Faroe Islands full time. I mean, if they're around, I should be around. I'm obsessed with this breed of cow. I think it's called the Highland cow. Oh, I think he or she is lost. How did you get past the gate?
There are 18 islands in the Faroe Islands, separated by deep fjords with many villages tucked behind steep mountains. And because of this, tunnels are a big part of getting around here, and there are loads of them. And one of the coolest things here is a tunnel with a roundabout, actually one of the only in the world, which we're taking to reach a remote village by the ocean. Next up is the town of Gásadalur, or, as I like to call it, the magic waterfall city, because it's home to this stunning waterfall that cascades right into the ocean. And this village is the most picturesque scenic village, sitting right by a waterfall straight out of a fairy tale.
So we made it to the most beautiful spot in all of the Faroe Islands. Basically, Gasadal is one of the most beautiful parts of this island, I truly believe. From the entire road trip that we've had so far, this is my personal favorite. And this town used to be completely disconnected from the rest of the Faroe Islands. It would take the most strenuous and difficult hike to get here, but back in 2006, they decided to build a tunnel, which finally led for people to come visit it and also live here because it was so remote. It was actually considered one of the most remote areas in all of the Faroe Islands that only like 11 people would live here. But I understand why.
Now there's 13.
Imagine waking up here and seeing this in your backyard. I mean, I think I want to live here now. I'm in love. This is like everything I could ever dream of.
We're doing an easy 1-hour hike to a place known as the lake above the ocean, or floating lake. Our guide is sharing more about Faroese culture along the way, which makes the hike even more enjoyable. I highly recommend getting one to help you get around.
In order to have good luck, you need to help guide others and contribute a stone to this so that others can find the way if it's foggy, if it rains.
And at the top, the lake creates this amazing optical illusion where it looks like it's floating above the sea. The view from the highest point is absolutely unreal, like something straight out of a movie.
We have made it to the top of Slave Cliff. The reason why this cliff specifically is called Slave Cliff is because, unfortunately, in old Viking history, this is the very cliff that slaves were thrown off of if they did something wrong, did something bad, or were no longer useful. And, well, this is extremely steep drop and an unfortunate ending to a lot of people's lives. But moving on from the dark history of the Viking ages, it is now serving as a beautiful viewpoint of the Faroe Islands and also a very windy spot. But on this cliff you can get a really good viewpoint of this lake right behind me, and you can see from here it looks like it is floating and it's right on the edge of the ocean. So it's really cool because I've never seen a floating lake above an ocean with a very beautiful view of the Faroe Islands before. So this is a really neat spot. I really love it.
As you can see there, the river flows and goes all the way down to the ocean cliff, and you can see monolithic cliffs here, and it runs around all the way to Majestic.
Halfway through our hike and it's time for lunch, and we've stopped at this beautiful point where it's quite interesting. The floating lake on top has a waterfall at the other side of the edge of the ocean, and all the fresh water is just releasing into the ocean and mixing in, and you just have this beautiful rugged landscape where you have green grass and a lake cut right between this beautiful white rugged middle split and then the water. And it's just, oh, seriously, every corner of this island is so cinematic. I would love to come back and have more time to just spend my time in one of the summer houses. I think it would be really fun. But man, this place is really something else. So we picked a beautiful spot with the best view, and she packed us these amazing traditional Faroese lunches. And what is this?
That is lamb sausage.
Oh, so lamb and cow meat, and then lamb sausage, and then some smoked salmon that she did herself. So I know that this is gonna be so delicious, and I'm so hungry. It looks so good. Let's try it.
Oh, there's a layer underneath it. There's another one.
One thing that I've noticed by traveling through Iceland and also here is that the bread is so good, and it's different. It's like a healthy grain bread. It's far different from a lot of the ones that I've had. Rye bread is usually what I'm having, and I'm obsessed with it. Wow. Sometimes a simple rye bread sandwich with some salt and butter and sausage is all you need in life. So here in the Faroe Islands, not only do you get beautiful scenery, majestic landscapes, but you also get some interesting folklore. So one of the stories that I've been hearing now from a few of the locals is that there's people called Heldefolk, basically meaning gray folk, gray people, little gray people. And the little gray people live out here in the rocks and inside of the land. And they're little people who are said to live amongst nature that are here to protect the Faroe Islands. But they're also friendly, if you're friendly back to them. And there's tons of stories of people being lost out here during snowstorms, fog storms, and the Heldefolk come out and they lead the people back to safety. Everyone says that they're real and they live amongst us and they live amongst nature. Maybe at some point during our trip here, we'll get to meet them. But for now, I'm gonna believe that they're maybe right around the corner. All right, next up on our really fun Faroe Islands road trip is we're going to Drangarnir Rock. It's one of the most popular attractions that you can find here in Faroe Islands, and we're gonna go see it by boat.
And traveling by boat is actually one of my favorite parts because you get to see so many inaccessible parts and lots of animals. And if you're lucky, maybe, just maybe, you'll spot a whale.
First stop on our tour is this cave called Akranesi. The Faroese people are super proud of this place because it's said to be older than Iceland with just about 60 million years of age. And it's next to this cute little waterfall. It's actually next to the cows that we were looking at earlier this morning. But you can see that it must be very old because it has the same pattern structure that we found back in Iceland. Like the geothermal pillars that go horizontally and vertically, you can see it here. So I'd say it's around the same time-ish as Iceland, but before that.
And this is Drangarnir.
Or at least I think that's how you say it. Oh my goodness, look at the view you get between the arches. What? This is so magical. So Drangarnir is one of the monolithic sea stacks that are so popular here in the Faroe Islands. And well, it's popular just because look at that thing. It is insanely monolithic, beautiful, picturesque, and out of the ordinary. And so people come here to do the day tour, and you can actually go up on the island next to it and just kind of chill by there and hang out with it.
We're back in Tórshavn, which you wouldn't be able to tell. We're literally 2 minutes outside of the city and I can't see a thing.
This fog seems to be the norm for everyone. Now I'm starting to understand why everybody was like, oh, you're so lucky you have sunshine. Oh my God. Now I'm like, oh, this is what every day looks like.
We really were lucky. We didn't understand it. Now we do.
That red house over there is a parliament, and it's 1100 years old, making it the oldest parliament in the world. Last minute, we asked if there was a fisherman local experience that we could get. So as you can see, we got it, which I'm very happy about, but the weather has really, really showed up for us today as the typical Faroese weather. But we're here today with an expert fisherman, local Faroese here, and he was telling us all about how the fishing industry is by far the biggest industry that the Faroe people have, and it takes up about 50% of the export economy here. So as you can imagine, it's huge, the salmon farming. But not only that, he was telling us all about his stories of whales. So, you know, whales here, it's a bit of a controversial topic, but I'd like to shed some light into it because I'm a whale lover. I love that over here in the Faroe Islands, they do it sustainably. They don't farm them, they don't go out and hunt them consistently and find them. They eat whatever whales, pilot whales to be specific, come through the fjords into close proximity here with the Faroe Islands. And they don't do it all the time. He said it's been about a year or more since they last had a hunting of a whale. So it's nice to hear that it's all sustainable, and I think it's the best kind of hunting that you can do when it comes to any kind of meat animal in this world. So it was nice to learn a little bit more about the whale industry and how it's such an ancient old tradition that goes for hundreds and hundreds of years for the Faroese people, and it's a delicacy. Not something I think I'll try anytime soon, but it's good to learn about it. And oh, also puffins. He said they're delicious, but the population hasn't been stable for a while, so they're holding off on that and they're protecting the puffins. So for now, the puffins are safe.
Every whale hunt in the Faroes
Yes.
are documented since 1500 and something.
Wow. So who keeps the footage? Who documents it?
It's the government.
The government? Very cool.
Everything is documented.
It's a great fact.
Every single whale that's killed.
See? So the whale hunts are also managed by the local police station, and they're the ones who get to say yes or no to whale hunts. So many times the fishermen come out and they actually spot whales, and then they have to call it in and say, hey, there's a whale. Is this something that we're gonna go after or let go? And if they have a surplus or just don't have a need for it, they'll say just let it go. And maybe if it's been a long time and they're wanting whale, then they'll call in the police and the government gets involved and they document them. So it's sustainably done. Let's get this party started. Right, babe?
Right.
This is 40 meters deep here. I can only dive 20. That's deep. I know how to fish. I haven't done it in a long while, but I used to fish on a farm every Sunday and Wednesday back in Ohio.
Oh.
I'm getting back in touch with my roots.
You got something?
Not yet. Unfortunately, the fishes are sleeping, I think.
You confident in this spot?
I just basically captaineered this ship, found a good spot, feel good about it.
Oh my gosh, how deep is this?
Now we're gonna catch some fish. This is super cool to be able to get this experience around the coastline and be able to sail and, you know, attempt to catch fish, have a warm tea. I feel like this is like the real Faroese experience. I'd say so myself.
Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It's much appreciated. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.